Hello, where are you, in the jungle?
No, I'm the patio in the front of the house. There's no monkeys, no anacondas.
That's that's in front of the house?
Yeah, on Highland, there's a pad off the dining room. There's
Ah,
a
yeah, yeah.
patio. Yeah, so it's
Oh,
very
that's nice.
green. Yeah,
That's
this time of year it's nice. It's a little bit cool. It's just right.
that's good.
Yeah, my mechitin from St. Louis, he's a
Yeah.
dentist, but he likes to do adventures. So he's in the Amazon now with a couple people, and there's a
Oh,
rabbi there from originally from Uruguay, Bernstein, I think his name is. You have any idea? He's from
no.
Uruguay. Yeah. So he works for the Israeli government. They send him to all these like small towns around the world where Jews still live. So there's still some Jews in like these small towns in Brazil. They came 100 years ago when they had rubber plantations,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
and they started all these businesses. But then the business moved to Indonesia, and most of the Jews left. But some Jews stayed. So they still have in Belém. Belém,
Yeah, yes.
it's at the mouth of the Amazon. It was interesting.
Yeah, but also there is famous for gaucho. What's gaucho?
Oh, gaucho. Yeah, yeah.
No, caucho.
What's that?
It's what you make the corks.
Oh,
Uh,
cork? Really?
and no, not really
No.
cork. Uh, Caucho is like rubber.
Oh, rubber. Oh, like real rubber.
You know that city in the Amazon that
Manaus.
uh, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. He's there now. He sent me pictures from Manaus.
Oh,
Crazy. There was a huge. It was beautiful. It was like Paris. They built an opera house, but then everybody left.
yeah.
It's like Los Angeles. Then he told me a story that 100 years ago
Rubber,
there were
rubber,
rub,
rubber.
rubber. There were in Europe these gangsters would kidnap women and send them to Argentina as prostitutes. You ever hear about that? It was a big
Jew,
business. Like
Jewish
in the
gangster?
Jewish gangsters from Poland, they would uh, they would go to villages and they have these young women and they say they would marry them. They have somebody for them in South America. He's rich. So they went to South America, and so they got there. They turned them into prostitutes. They wouldn't let them
Hmm.
leave.
Well, my mother went once with her, with my stepfather to Europe, and they stopped in Hamburg, I think,
Yeah.
because he had some friends from Poland that were there.
Uh huh.
So they're sitting in the restaurant, and my mother is asking him what he does there. So
Okay.
my stepfather is kicking her under the table. So he told her he's in public relations. He said, "What's it does? What is that?"
Who's a pimp?
No, no, he had the houses of ill repute.
Really? That's public relations.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take out the L from public.
Was very curious.
That's funny. That's funny.
Ronnie, were you able to do it?
I just didn't get a chance. I'm sure I will. If you did
Yeah.
it, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
sure I will. Okay, we're on Kuf Vav.
Mhm.
Ve'ha'ikr moiser shemen, but there's extra. We're talking about, in a case where we don't know what the guy said. Did he mean chalois? Did he mean wafers? So we said he does kmitz on both of them. I va'ikr moiser shemen. What about the oil? The mechza chalois to mechza rekikin amar. Because if he said half and half, moiser shemen machzir l'chalois, um, you'd have to put the shemen back to the chalois and ikula rekikin amar. And if he said it's all the wafers, moiser shemen nachal kohanim, so you can't have it both ways. So Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, the Tanya, Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Omer Mishum Reb Shimon, Moishchin Kimin Ki. They would make a Greek letter Chi. They would smear the oil on both the chalos and the rikikin. And Moiser Shemen Nechal Kohanim. The remainder was eaten by the Kohanim. That covered both things. Armalei Rav Kana Rav Ashi. If we're in doubt what he said, hi Walter, we're on Kuvav.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
If we're in doubt,
How far down?
maybe 5 lines. You can offer wine as its own mincha. So, ki kamistapkale. So, what do you mean? What mincha was he in doubt? Siman. Yachid biglal lavona below mekumsa. Ba biglal yachid. If his was only thinking about individual menachos, ba biglal tzibur lo mistapkale. We don't have to worry about menachos for the tzibur. Ki kamistapkale ba biglal atzma. If what he was thinking about are menachos that are brought individually, not along, for example, with an animal, so so we can remove all of those menachos from our thought. Maybe he was only thinking about menachos that need the spice, right? And he was not thinking about those menachos that don't get the spice. The standard mincha is 1 loig per yisaron. But Baba Shloisha look at he wasn't thinking about the really oily ones. And Kiko mistapkele to una kmitza. Only those menachos that need kmitza. Sheina to una kmitza lo mistapkele. So it narrows because the minchas nesachim, the wine is completely burned. The Mishnah said pirashti mincha shel esronim. I mentioned number of esronim, but I forgot how much. So there was a machlokas chachamim and Rebbe. Ton rabbanon. Pirashti mincha v'kavatzi b'kli echad shel esronim. I remember that I wanted to bring it in one kli, but v'eni yodea ma pirashti. Yavi mincha shel shishim esronim. The mincha with the most esronim is 60. So he brings divrei chacham. Rabbi Omer yavi menachos shel esronim me'echad v'shishim. No. He brings 60 types of menachos in 60 types of kelim. One has 1 isaron, the other has 2 isaron, the other has 3 isaron. In math, that's called a factorial, right? It would be 60 exclamation point, 60 factorial. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, right? So look at this. The Gemara does that. Shein elef u'shmona me'os u'shloshim. You'd end up bringing 1,830 esronim. That's 60 factorial. If I had my old calculator, let me see.
Texas Instruments.
Well, I have, yeah, but I have.
And the phone, you have it.
I think you can convert it to
Turn the phone.
Yeah, no, I have.
Turn the phone around.
No, I have it here. Math notes, no. Scientific. It doesn't have factorial.
It must be the math. No. The scientific.
The scientific, X, yeah, X, here. 30, yeah. I'm sorry, 60.
The factorial is different because it's a multiple. It's
here 60x.
It's a huge number.
Equals, oh yeah. No, 8.
It's times. It's 60 times 59 times 58. I think it's a multiple, not an addition.
Okay.
Yeah, 60 times 59 times 58 times, that's. Yeah.
Right. So that's not a sum, right? What we're talking about is a sum.
It's a different whatever term it is.
It's a sum. Pirashti v'eni yodea ma pirashti. Pirashti v'eni yodea. Mezemen pirashti. He made a vow to give a certain kind of mincha with a certain number of esronim. And remember, there are 5 different kinds of minchas. We said soles, machvas, marcheshes, Chalis and Rikikin. Venu there kama pirashti. So now Yavi Chamesh Menachos shel Shishim Esronim. Here we'd have to bring all 5 different types with 60 Esronim, so it's 300, right? Shein Shlosh Me'os, 60 times 5 is 300. Divrei Chacham. Rabbi Yomi, no. Yavi Chamesh Menachos shel Shishim Esronim Me'echav Vat Shishim. You bring the sum of 1 through 60 for 5 times, so that's 1830 times 5. Shein Tisha Lofim U'Mea V'Chamishim. 9,150 esronim. That's a lot of flour. B'mai kamiflagi. What are the Chachamim and Rebbe arguing with Amrav Chizda? B'muter lachnis chulin lazar kamiflagi. Can you bring chulin into the azar? Because in making this Tanai, maybe it was a mincha, maybe it was not a mincha. Rabbi Sover Osir Lachnis Chun Lazar. You can't bring it. Rabbanon Sovi Mutter Lachnis Chun Lazar. Rabbanon say you can. Meaning, flour of a mincha that is either a choiva or an adova, you can't mix them in a single kli. So therefore, if you put 60 isaron of flour in a kli, and you say, this is to fulfill the neder I made, and anything that remains that is not part of that should be a voluntary nedava, you can't do that because you're remixing it. But you could mix a mincha of choiva with chulin. So the rabbis say you could bring 60 Yisrael in one and say, if my vow was to bring 60, then here it is. And if not, it's chulin. But Rabbi says you can't bring chulin at all. So you got to bring it all in a different kli. Rabbi Amar, no. Nobody says you can bring chulin to azara. The whole debate is whether you can mix donative versus choiva menachos in one kli. Rabbanan Savi mutar la'ariv choiva menadava. You can. The Rabbi Savar also la'ariv choiva menadava. However, Amarle Abai leRava Rabbanan Dami mutar la'ariv choiva menadava habein and shmei kmatzim. You need 2 different kmitzas, one for a nadava type and one for a choiva type. So as the Gemara, fine, comments, other comments. So fine, he does 2 kmitzas. V'haka comments mechoiva nadava menadava choiva, but the kmitza may be you're taking from flour that was choiva to pater and adava. So Rava says the toile bedas koin.
Yeah, but you can mix them together.
You mix them according to Chachamim. You brought it.
You mix them together.
Mix them in one kli.
But we know that on korbanos, if you have a choiva, you can't bring it with an adova in a korban.
That's, you mean an animal?
An animal, yeah.
Right. But a mincha in the flour. So
why would it be different? Why would the mincha be different to basically a korban? So
since we've now stated that they both hold that you can't bring chulin lazara.
Yeah.
So the way the Rabbanon are saying, you make it tonight. Either this is donative or it's chova. So you're potentially initially mixing the 2. So then the Gemara asks, well, then you have to do 2 different kmitzas. So Rava said, fine, you do 2 different kmitzas. But then you're being kmitza for the Nadava one to pater the Choiva one. So the Gemara says, the Tali le bedas koyin. The Omar kol hecha de matya yoda de koyin hash the Choiva.
Yeah, but it's
put his hand, that's the Choiva. And the remainder, where he doesn't have his hand, all of a sudden, Nadava.
But it's strange because a poor person, right, you would think would only bring a choiva. He wouldn't bring it in the dova. A real poor person.
You can. A poor person could bring a donative mincha too.
I hear what you're saying, but why would somebody who can't
Because we're talking about a case where the guy made a vow and he forgot his vow.
Well,
So we're trying to protect him. With the 60 Esronos he's making this night. Either it's this or it's that.
I get it.
It's not like Chazchila, we're talking about reality.
Okay.
Fine. What do you do with the kmitza when you do a kmitza? You burn it. Now, how are you going to burn these kmitzas? Listen to the problem. Lichter nedova bereisha. If he burns the donative kmitza first, then choiva hechi makterle. How would he be able to burn the obligatory minchaf kmitza afterwards? Because dilma kula choiva maybe the whole korban is a choiva, v'chasru lehu shirayim, and you cannot. Yeah, you got to offer the whole shirayim at one time. You can't do shirayim, and this is going to be viewed as shirayim. V'amar mar shirayim shechasru ben kmitza laktora. If the remainder of the mincha got deficient between when you did the kmitza and the burning, ein makter koimetz alein. You don't throw the kmitza. So that's the problem if you burnt the kmitza of the nedava first. So that won't work. Lichter choiva bereisha. Let us say that the kmitza that he's burning first is the choiva one. So then we ask the question about the nedava. The nedava hechi makter law. Dilma kula choiva hi. The kosher b'men liyishim arei b'chol b'val taktiru. Anything that's supposed to go into the fire, you can't. Anything, for example, the shirayim that remain, you can't burn. So either way, whether you offer the kmitza first as the chova one, or you offer the kmitza first and the nedava ones, leads to a problem burning the second one. No problem. The second kmitza we throw as if it was fuel, like wood. And we're allowed to do that. Rabbi Elazar, the Tanya, Rabbi Elazar Omer, l'reach nichochi etamale. Well, tamale l'shumeitzim. You can bring it up as if it was more wood. So, the Chachamim say, this kli with the 60 Yisrael, you can do. Maybe the machlokas is different. Both Rebbe and the Chachamim hold you're allowed to mix choiva with nedava, and here there's a different problem. Hacha ben Rabbi Eliezer kamifliki. This law of whether you can put the remainder as fuel, as eitzim, maybe that's the machlokas. The Rabbanan islud Rabbi Eliezer, and that's why you can mix the two. The Rabbi Lesley Rabbi Eliezer. If you would think that Rebbe allows you to mix a donative with an obligatory korban, would Rabbi Eliezer Lesley, and he doesn't hold of Rabbi Eliezer that you can put things up for eitzim after the Maisi Shisin B'chad Mana. Why did Rabbi hold that you have to bring 1,830 esronas? He also would have allowed you to bring it 60 in one kli, and chad b'chad mana, and another in another vessel. Umagalu v'kamet, you touch them, and perform kmitza. And you'd make it t'nai if the contents of the large vessel is a choiva, then this should be on the behalf of that, and if not, it should be up on the smaller one. So why did Rebbe require 1830 esronos? So it's clear then, according to the Gemara, that Rebbe also holds you can't mix a choiva with a nadav. However, the Gemara has another way of explaining the machlokas. Rav Amar, Kulam mutar la'arv choiva min nadav. Really, you can mix the two. With the Kamei Yisud Rebbe Eliezer, they both hold that the extra could be viewed as eitzim. A different machlek is this not. Afilu mincha shel shishim yisaron nosim shishim log. The Chachamim say you have to put a log shemen with each yisara. So a mincha of 60 esronos gets 60 log. Well, the Ben Yaakov says no. Afilu mincha shel shishim yisron ein lo ela luga. Only gets one log. Shenemar lemincha v'log shaman. Log shaman is for any size mincha. Rabbanan savri, Rabbanan da amri shishim log. The Chachamim argued with Rabbi. They said that they don't have to bring 1830. You just bring 60. They hold like Rabbi. They hold like the Chachamim of the Mishnah with the log that say you have to bring 60. Because Chad v'Chad Yisron Luga Kashokil. Right? Each Yisron gets its own log. Rabbi Savak Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Damar Ein Lo Ela Luga. You only get its own log. The lo yadina ni chadam minchahi. The sagla b'chad log. We don't know whether the guy wanted 60 Yisron in one vessel, or shtei menachos then it'll be in a shtei lugin, or maybe he wanted to mix it and have two kalim, and therefore you would have needed two lugin. There's another way to explain the machlokes. Rav Ashi Omar, bekotten ve'vi godel kamiflugi. He made a netter to bring a small mincha, and he brought a big one. Rabbanan Sarvi kotten ve'vi godel yotza. If he made a netter to bring a small one, he brought a big one, you're still yotzei. The Rebbe Sever lo yotza, and the Rebbe says no. That's why Rebbe has you bring all the various numbers. They already argued with this once. This not. Cotton vevi godel yotza. Rebbe yomer lo yotza. Tzricha. So we need the machlokas in both places. The iyad marbaha baha komi rabbanon. Mishum da'ai divide koimitzu. Whether you have a small mincha or large mincha, you only offer a koimitz on the mizbeach. Aval also by animal korbanos is the konafishin emurin. Right? If you said, I want to bring a small animal, and you brought a large one. Now, when you have a large animal, there's more emurin than a smaller one. Maybe emu more to Leila Rebbe. So maybe the Chacham will agree to Rebbe that you can't bring a large animal when you specified a small one. If the machlok was only discussed there by the animals, Rebbe. That's where Rebbe said that you can't vary. But maybe by mincha he would agree. So I needed the machlokes in both places. Tricha. Simin. Eitzim zov yayin oila toida shor. Which is a way to remember the next few mishnayos. Harei alei eitzim. Person brings a vow to bring wood. Lo yivchos b'shtei gzirim. You got to bring 2 logs. Levona lo yivchos mikoimetz. If he said, I'm going to bring a spice, he has to bring at least a koimetz worth of spice. And levona can be offered as its own korban. Chamisha kamotzim heim. There are 5 times we do kmitza. Omer alai levona, lo yivchos mikoimetz. You have to bring a koimetz worth of levona. Now, amenadev mincha, yavi ima koimetz levona. A regular mincha comes along with a koimetz of spice. And when you throw the spice, that's considered the kmitza. Amalas a koimetz b'chutz chayiv. If you offer the kmitza on a mizbech outside the azor, you're chayiv kares. Shnei v'zichei te'unim shnei kmotzim. The 2 spoons or cups of spice that are placed on lechem aponim, you have to do 2 kmitzas. Harei alai zahav. Now, zahav is gold, is not given on the mizbeach, but you can give it to the berek habayis. Lo yivchos midiner zahav is a minimum. Kesef lo yivchos midiner kesef. Nechoishes lo yivchos mimah kesef. You have to bring a ma kesef, which is 32 prutos is 1 ma. 6 ma is a silver dinner. Pirashti, he says, I made a vow to bring a certain amount of a precious metal, but I forgot how much. Venidema pirashti, He has to bring a certain amount until he can say for sure, that much I never had kavana for. We'll have to see what that means practically. Torah Rabbana. Korban, labinshim is not vin eitzim. It says nefesh ki sakriv korban mincha Hashem. The word korban says you can even make a donation of wood. Kama shnei gzirin, 2 lots. Chenu oimer v'agoralois ipanu al korban haitzim. In Nehemiah, we're going to learn that there were lots cast as to who would donate the wood for the Beis HaMikdash. And they called it the Korban Haitzim. Rabbi Omer Haitzim Korbanim. That wood is itself like a mincha. And therefore, Tu'unin Melach, you have to salt the wood. U'tu'unin Agosha, you have to bring Megish, the wood, near the southwest corner of the Mizbeach, like we do other Menachos. Therefore, Amar Rava, the Divrei Rebbe, Eitzim Tu'unin Kmitza. You have to do kmitza. You have to chop it up into small little pieces or sawdust and do kmitza on it. And Amar of Papa, the Divrei Rebbe, eitzim tzrichim eitzim. The wood that you bring as a korban needs other wood to burn it with. Okay. Levona lo yifchos min ha-koimetz. You have to bring at least a koimetz levona. Min ha'olam t'chsiv. Ve'iri mimenu bekumtzo. You have to lift the koimetz, misal zamincha mishamna v'eskol levona. Mekish levona la rama de mincha. We compare the levona to when you remove the flour from the mincha. Ma rama de mincha koimetz. When you remove the flour, it's a koimetz. Af levona nami koimetz. The amount of spice that you have to offer is a koimetz too. Torah Rabbana. Harei alai lemizbeach. I make a vow. I want to bring something for the altar. Yavi levona. Shelech hadavar shekarav l'gabi mizbeach levona. There's nothing else that is burned entirely on the mizbech except for levona. Dam, you have all the whole animal that was not burned, or given or eaten by the kohanim, or gotten rid of. The levona is the only thing that's completely burned. Therefore, pirashti v'edidema pirashti. I made a vow. I forgot what I made. Yavi mi kol davar shekarav lemizbech. You have to bring one of everything that is makrav on a mizbech. More of a sulek of ayika oila. Well, what do you mean only levona? We offer an ola, and it's burned, but it's not the only thing. Ika oila kohanim. The hide of an ola is given to kohanim. Av ha'ika oila sa'ov. But ika murava nutza. The crop and its feathers are not burnt on the mizbeach. It's placed in the Makom HaDeshen, so only the levona is an exception to the general rule. Okay. Very good. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock daf tomorrow.
Very good. Go ahead.
Harold,
Yes.
where you sitting? You go with the
I'm in the front patio off of my dining room.